Right as I hit record, I just started a huge yawn. Hey everyone, I am Jaden,
And I'm Cam.
and we are the Super Gamer Bros, and this is the Super Gamer Bros podcast. We are just a couple of brothers who love playing games and love talking about games, so that is what we do. And welcome, everybody, to this month's edition of Super Gamer News. That's right, we're still doing it. Despite the fact that everyone is begging us not to, we are still doing news episodes because I think we want to. I don't know, we're just doing it. Um,
We want to.
yeah, we want to. And today, is it your turn to go first, or is it my turn to go first?
I think you always went first.
No, we've been taking turns.
Have
You
we?
might
Okay.
not you
Well, I
might
know.
not have
Okay.
noticed, but I definitely noticed.
Okay. I don't think I did notice, but I will. I'm pretty sure you went last time, so I guess I'll go this time.
Yeah, okay, you go first.
So for our first story, we have Sony stock drops $10 billion after poor PlayStation 5 sales. After expected PlayStation 5 sales, this last uh fiscal
Yes.
quarter dropped from 25 million to 21 million. Sony also announced that the PlayStation 5 is entering the later stages of its life cycle, hinting the PlayStation 6 could come sooner than expected. To be honest, I think they're kind of rushing a PlayStation 6 to go with like GTA 6, which is really stupid in my opinion.
Well, well, I don't. I have seen. Oh God, who was it? Someone, like when I was looking up news, I did see someone had that same prediction that you just said of the PlayStation 6 supposedly being release timed with GTA 6.
Yeah.
I did actually see that somewhere.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I just think I think that's what their plan is, which, for the money, I guess, but I just feel like the PlayStation 5 wasn't really even it didn't really have a life cycle, you know? I don't feel like it's been around for too long. So I don't know. There's still people that are on the PlayStation 4, so for me it's just like, okay. What do you think?
What do I think? Honestly, I think people for some reason have very short memories when it comes to console life cycles because yeah, the PS5 did come out 4 years ago. I feel like it maybe seems shorter because they were just so hard to get for such a long time that maybe, there are a lot of people that probably have not had them as long as, yeah, a lot of people have not had them as much as, say, they might have had a PS4. Because, I mean, for example, Noah and I, we got our PS4, the month that PlayStation 4s came out. We waited outside of GameStop for several months, for several hours. But we got one Black Friday, the year that PlayStation 4s came out in 2013. PlayStation 5, I did not get until late 2022. So, I mean, almost 2 years after the console actually released. So I've not had my PS5 really that long. But the PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 4 both had 7-year lives. So hypothetically, you're looking at 2027 would be the end of the life cycle, and if that is the case, we are already over halfway. So that's what you want to consider later stages. There's also reports, hints. Having not looked into it, really, the PlayStation 5 Pro also might be happening, and if that happens, I imagine that would be an indicator that the PlayStation 6 would be at least a couple years off. I don't think Sony would want to put time and money into developing a PlayStation 5 Pro to release a PlayStation 6 within like a year, or maybe even 2 years of that coming out. But yeah, I don't know. I think the PlayStation 5 life cycle is standard. I think people just think it's shorter than it is. But talking about the actual news part of this, I find the stock drop to be kind of,
Horrendous.
yeah, like $10 billion. That to me seems like a lot for the lack of just for this, lack of console sales, considering that the PS5 has already sold millions upon millions upon millions of units, and along with that, like it's outselling the Xbox Series XS 2 to 1. Double the sales of Xbox consoles this generation, and consoles aren't where game companies make money. Most game companies, especially when consoles first come out, they actually lose money on console sales because you make that up by selling games. Because Sony gets a cut of every single game sold on PlayStation, be it on the PlayStation Store or even disc-based games. Sony gets a cut of all of that, so that's where Sony makes most of their money. And I mean, not just Sony, but any, Xbox, any of those game companies, they make money on game sales. Like you lose money on hardware sales to make money on game sales. Is basically how that works. Because hypothetically, assuming your console doesn't break or anything, you're only buying one console per, console life cycle, which is, hypothetically paying Sony $500 for a game console that, let's say, it costs them $550 to make. But then throughout the life cycle, you're paying Sony, at now, hypothetically $70 per game, which you buy what, 7 games over 7 years. That's basically equivalent to the cost of the console itself, and that's actually if you bought physical, because the physical edition was $500. The digital was only $400. It costs Sony a lot less money to make a game because the developers are the ones spending the money making the game, and Sony just publishes it, which is, you have marketing costs, things like that, but typically not, definitely not as much input as a console itself.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of money.
Yeah.
That's an insane amount.
Yeah, so the drop on lack of console sales really is kind of weird to me. I feel like investors are just panicking over nothing because they're not thinking of the millions. Because like 21 million, that's still a lot of consoles. And if those 21 million people buy just 2 games a year, that easily makes up for that 4 million in console sales. Like very easily. And I mean, even if the 21 million people bought 1 game a year, one $70 game a year, that would, again, completely make up for that console sales. So, yeah, I don't know. Anyway, Cam, we're now moving on to actually, I assume probably related news. My first news story that I picked, that PlayStation announced they're laying off 900 employees, which is roughly 8% of their global staff. These layoffs affect PlayStation and several of their subsidiary companies, including Naughty Dog, Insomniac Games, Guerrilla Games, and more. Just to run through, Naughty Dog, maker of Last of Us Uncharted, Insomniac, Ratchet and Clank, and Spider-Man, and Guerrilla Games, the Horizon series. That's their big thing. This is not a surprise at all, considering I think every news episode we've done, except for one, has covered layoffs because, boy, they're happening a lot in the gaming world right now. Not great. Very volatile industry to work in right now. I mean, already just in the year, I mean, we reported in January, just in January alone, over 6,000 jobs were lost. Layoffs happened at different game companies or gaming related companies. And then Sony just adds 900 on top of that. Insane. This was one of those stories that, I didn't even have anyone to credit in terms of, oh, I saw it reported here because I saw the Sony post. Like I got a notification on my phone of Sony's official post on their own blog or whatever saying that they're releasing laying off 900 employees. Yeah, not great.
No, it's not really been a good year for gaming companies, man. We've seen this a lot recently. It's not a good look. It's it kind of sucks, but it's expected when 10 billion is cut. So
yeah, yeah, gaming industry is not looking promising right now with all these layoffs. Not great.
As for my second story, NCAA football 25 is actually happening.
Yeah, good news. We're moving on to good news.
EA is finally standing on business, and they're finally doing something good for themselves. EA has reported the game will release in summer of 2024. Not an exact due date, but we do know kind of like around the time. The first college football game released in over 10 years. And due to the new NIL rules, college athletes can actually appear in the game as long as they agree to. There's been over 10,000 athletes have signed on it so far. It's looking pretty promising. Now, now I will say this, but I'm not gonna knock the hustle because hey, first game back, maybe EA will actually care. Do I think they will? No. But they say it will be different than Madden. I don't know how true that will be, but I think it'll be interesting to see how it goes. I'm more excited to see like more later on, advanced trailers where we see some gameplay.
Yeah, this is incredibly exciting, Cam. You and I, big NCAA football game fans. The first episode we did, as your like official co-host, second episode we did together was NCAA Football 14 because we both
Yes.
love that game. It's a great game. I am, cautiously hopeful about this one because, on the one hand, super excited for a new NCAA football game, especially because of all the different things they could do. I think actually being able to have the college athletes instead of, random generated weird looking guys with randomly generated names will be
Yeah.
cool. Of course, I'm also super hesitant because EA is really good at screwing up what should be a just surely good thing.
That is very, very, very well said.
Yeah.
I think I'm nervous for them being lazy and not having high school teams. That's one big thing I'm really nervous about.
Oh, that's already a bad sign. I didn't know that.
No, I don't know. I don't know.
Oh, you
I'm
don't know. Gotcha.
No. I'm just nervous about it. Like
Yeah,
I'm
I
nervous.
gotcha.
I'm a little nervous about maybe not having mascot mashups. I hope they would though. I mean, I feel like that's what's one of the big things about NCAA football games. But things that I'm hopeful for is they kind of have like a training thing, like how we used to back in like older Madden games. I don't really care for a story mode. I think I'd rather play it just how I did for like my character because that gave me more of a broader idea. You know what I mean? When I was younger, like I used to make like my own backstory. I hate when it's like a scripted thing that you have to follow. It's just not what I'd want to do.
Yeah, it's actually funny. There was a guy on. I don't have TikTok, but by basically my TikTok is like Facebook videos. Facebook basically has kind of the same concept.
Yeah.
I watch a lot of those, and there was one guy that I don't know, just kind of randomly popped in my feed, and I saw a bunch of his videos where he did a bunch of those shorts, and I think like they were pulled from longer YouTube videos, where I'm pretty sure he did it on like a mod of NCAA 14 because it had like a lot more teams and like kind of updated things. It might have even been like a Madden game or something because he would always take his players from college into the NFL. But he actually would do that. He would create backstories for all these different players. And the guy was very good at the game. He especially played defense a lot very well. And playing defense in Road to Glory NCAA 14, very difficult. It was very like that's really the thing that hooked me on watching him was how good he was at the defensive aspect of the game because that I always sucked at. But anyway, yeah, I mean there are only three things that really need to make this game work for me, and that is dynasty mode, like in NCAA 14,
Yeah.
where you can pick your school, you can get contracts, recruit, all that stuff,
Yeah.
and not have it like kind of forced online, or at
Mm.
least more online focused, which is something Madden has done all the way back since Madden 13, and I think they just kind of ruined the classic franchise mode Madden. Road to Glory, I want to be able to create a player, take him from high school all the way through 4 years of college. The high school, I guess, could be kind of optional, but I would prefer it if they didn't have high school. You just started out in college, but other than that, it was the exact same as it was in 14. I would be fine with that. And then mascot mashup. That's it. Those three things. Just do those three things, and I will consider this game a success. But unfortunately, EA is developing it, so I can't, you know, uh, uh, be confident that'll happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, I'm absolutely excited. I'm absolutely gonna buy it. I just hope I'm not disappointed.
Yeah, no, you guys will definitely hear a review about it from me and Jaden.
Yep, more than likely.
Yeah, so I think I mean it's exciting for sure because even though it's EA and I'll be very cautious around it. If they for some reason somehow find a way to not do an EA thing and it's really good, I will be very happy.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, I will be so happy.
Anyway, moving on to I mean, I think this is a cool news story. Remedy, game developer Remedy, has acquired all of the rights. Has officially acquired all of the rights of Control, Control 2, and a Control multiplayer spin-off game, which is under the codename Condor, from publisher 505 Games. This gives Remedy complete ownership of the series and complete creative control as a result. This is cool for several reasons, because one, I mean, it's just cool to see a developer kind of, taking over. This is their stuff, and they will not, they will do what they want. If you don't know, Remedy also makes Alan Wake. That's their other big thing.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I feel like they also made Max Payne, but don't quote me on that. I can't. They had another big one that I just am really blanking on. But yeah, they made Max Payne. They made Control, and Control was well received. I never played it myself, but Noah played it. Noah really liked it, and I've only heard good things about it. But when Remedy made Alan Wake 2, they did something that is, especially rare in the developer world. They published their own game. A lot of game developing companies, you develop the game and then you find a publisher. You have to, show them the game. They have to agree to publish it, and then they do all of that stuff, with the putting it on the consoles, doing marketing, stuff like that. The bad part about that, hypothetically, is if you, Cam, are, developing this game and you're like, oh man, this game, I love this game. It's great. I love what I did with it. I'm so excited for people to play it. And you come to me, the publisher, and you're like, hey, I made this game. Look at this game. Isn't this great? Like, the last 12 publishers said no to this game, but it's a great game. I promise you'd love it. And I say, yeah, I'll publish this game for you. But here's what you need to do. You need to change this. You need to get rid of this. Add this feature. Blah blah blah. So when you have a publisher, you kind of have to do what they say, or at least try to find some way to compromise on things, because the publisher is not going to publish a game that they don't think will be successful.
Right.
And if you're just trying to get your game published that you've spent all this time and money on, you'll make those changes, because it's in the long run usually cheaper for game companies to get publishers. And then also you're going to make less money on it, because part of the money for every sale of the game is going to go to me, the publisher, and you're going to lose money on that.
Yeah.
So you kind of need the game to be even more successful than maybe initial predictions for the game to be considered a success for you, because you're not getting all the money from every sale. So Remedy actually just did initially work with 505 Games to publish the Control series. But then they published Alan Wake 2 by themselves, and that was very successful. And they certainly feel confident that they can publish their own games now, and thus have complete creative control. Alan Wake 2, very fun game, and it's very clear to see that they probably had a lot of fun developing it, and they certainly did some crazy things in that game that I did not expect going in, that I think were really cool. So seeing them take over control to have complete creative control of the series going forward, I think is a very good move. I think it'll really work out for them, because I think their reputation for games is pretty good at this point. And so I'm excited. Good for them.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that's always good to hear when, I guess, like, I don't want to say like upcoming, but like kind of upcoming company, they have a succeed, and now they're kind of making their staple. Yeah, I don't know. It's good for them.
Yeah, good for them.
Yeah, I was like, see, we finally get like a nice story on the news.
Yeah,
that's always good to hear.
Yeah.
For my third one, we have Skull and Bones released on February 16th. It's not doing too great. After over 10 long years in development, I believe this is the quadruple A live service game. Maybe the AAAA.
No, it's quadruple A.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, we'll think double A, triple A, Jaden. I don't know. Has a user score of 2.8 on a Metacritic on 222 reviews at the time of writing. I haven't really heard too much about the game yet. I didn't really want to hear much. I was still trying to play it. Just haven't had the time, but that's not really that good. That's pretty bad. I mean, 2.8 is terrible.
Yeah, not great. I don't think it comes as a surprise. It certainly doesn't to me, because any game that spends a long time in development typically is not well received. I think probably the best example of that is Duke Nukem Forever. That game spent 14 years in development, and let me tell you, when it came out, did not make a big splash in terms of wowing its audience. And Skull and Bones, being the pirate, what's the word? Sequel, I guess, to Assassin's Creed 4, specifically Assassin's Creed 4's pirate mechanics, is whatever. I love Assassin's Creed 4. I love the pirate mechanics. The second Skull and Bones was announced, especially as a sort of multiplayer game. I wasn't super excited for it because I don't like multiplayer games. Everyone knows this about me.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a neat take. I'm not gonna give up on it yet. I still would like to play it and get my own opinion. But that's definitely not good. And I don't know that. Jaden, that you do have a point though. I have noticed that with games that take incredibly long to come out, and they're in development for a long time, it usually is a bad sign because it doesn't really take that long as it should have. That tells me that there's some type of bump in the road. Probably maybe a company left, or maybe it switched companies. So yeah.
I will say I do get some sadistic satisfaction at I don't know if you want to call it douchiness, the ego, whatever, of Ubisoft being like, hey, this is a quadruple A live service game. No more triple A, it's quadruple A. It's live service, which is a model that I, Jaden, hate. So seeing it fail, I'll be honest, I'm like, yeah, I'm okay with that. Suck it.
Yeah, no, I understand that completely. I do think they are out of line a lot. So, yeah.
All right. And another bad news. This is a very bad news filled episode. I guess depending on your outlook for this one, but Warner Bros. Gaming boss JB Perrette announced that the company is pushing its focus in the future towards live service, mobile, and free-to-play games.
Boo.
This is yes, thank you, Cam. This is due to the quote volatile AAA games market not being a stable investment, which honestly is a hard thing to argue against. And this is very much proven with the highly successful Hogwarts Legacy, which has sold over 22 million units. Very good.
Ooh.
Congrats to them. And the poor reception and sales of Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, which has not revealed any actual metrics in terms of sales numbers, which let me tell you, not a good sign. Game companies,
terrible.
Game companies love to tell you about their sales when their game is successful. If a game company does not reveal sales numbers for a game, that typically is an indication that it did not sell well. And also, but not having access to the actual kind of sales numbers. One thing that you can use to sort of guess how a game is doing is looking at something like Steam player counts, which for Suicide Squad have been low, averaging barely to not even 1,000 players a day. And let me tell you, not great, especially for a game that is meant to be online, played with other people. You kind of want players, a decent amount of players. I mean, to put that in perspective, it is averaging, one report I saw, 7 times less players, at least on this one kind of given period. 7 times less than Batman Arkham Knight, which came out 9 years ago and is Rocksteady's last game before Suicide Squad. That's why that comparison. Also has no online playability, so it's basically people just playing single player challenges and story mode over and over again, and way more people are playing that than the new Suicide Squad game. Not a great sign for that your game is doing well.
Pretty bad look.
Yeah. And so Perrette had said, why put all this time, money, effort into making these AAA games just for them not to sell well when you can put a lot less time, money, and effort into a mobile game, say based on Harry Potter or Hogwarts Legacy, a live service game, even, that you only really have to develop once and then you can just put money into updates. And you specifically mentioned like a Hogwarts game, which, as Hogwarts Legacy has shown, would probably be pretty successful. And you can just make one and then just do a lot smaller investments to keeping the game running and adding new content, and people will play it. I mean, I have no doubts that a Hogwarts themed live service MMO style kind of game, whatever, would be widely successful. I think that would do very well.
Yeah, I agree. I do agree there.
Yeah, and I mean, being successful in AAA games market is not the easiest. So again, I mean, from a business standpoint, it is easy to see kind of his point. You can argue, yeah, as I'm sure some people would, that, well, Suicide Squad was not a good game, so that's why it didn't do well. They need to, maybe stop with corporate intervention and actually just publish good games. And while I would love that to be true, just because a game is good does not mean it'll sell well either. There have been plenty and plenty of good video games that had poor sales numbers and even bankrupted studios because the game sold poorly. I think the best example of that, at least one that always comes to my mind, is LA Noire. Detective game. It was published by Rockstar, not developed, but published, and it's an incredibly good game. I highly recommend it. But the studio that developed it went bankrupt after the game came out and had to close because the game did not sell well. Not great. So I can understand what the guy is saying, but for me, being a guy who loves single player games and not live service, I understand what he's saying, being from a giant company that has to make its investors happy, but it doesn't make me happy, so I don't like it.
Yeah, I'm right with you. I agree. I mean, like you said, I think mobile gaming. There's a lot of wins with it. I mean, wins with it. But I don't know. I still think mobile games can be risky business though. Like you have to execute it good, and I feel like if you don't, it's not gonna work. And but they do make a lot of money. There's probably a lot more kids on there. There's a lot more variety. So yeah, I think it'll be interesting how they do. But personally, I think they should still make games on console. But hey,
well, I mean that live service and free to play can both be released on console, and even any game that can be released on mobile can also be released on console. But I mean, typically they're not. But it is what it is.
yeah, it is what it is. Who has sum it up?
Yeah. Moving on, guys. Let's move on from this mostly depressing, various levels of sad news. And Cam, why don't you tell us about what your first game you got coming out?
WWE 2K24. Visual Concepts made this or published this. I mean, or
Developed.
no, developed it. No, I'm gonna do that again. My bad.
Yep.
You're good.
We had a
We'll
big conversation about developing and publishing earlier.
Yeah. WWE 2K24, developed by Visual Concepts, released March 8th. I'm kind of excited for this game. I used to be a big WWE fan. I think Jaden can confess that for you guys. I've had a lot of their games throughout the years. But I kind of stopped once it got glitchy. But I heard they're making a comeback, and who knows? Maybe I might get it again. I like playing with some of my friends. We used to do that all the time. So maybe I can try to get the boys back on and play some online WWE.
Fun.
But yeah, I've always loved WWE games, especially earlier ones as well, like SmackDown versus Raw, and some of the earlier WWE 2Ks.
Yeah, I also was one time a big WWE fan. No, I don't think I was ever as big as Cam was, but no one cares. But Cam, I mean, really, I did not watch WWE a lot. I watched it for, about a year from 2008 to 2009. And then again, I got back into it in like 2011 and watched it for maybe like 3 months. And then I was, just done with it. But love the games. I think the SmackDown versus Raw games are great. You and I have talked at length about doing a SmackDown versus Raw game on the podcast, which
yes,
absolutely I want to do eventually, but it's just been so long since I played any of them. I told you that I really, if we were to do an episode on one of those, I would have to replay it to kind of refamiliarize myself with it before wanting to do an episode because,
of course,
yeah, it is. But yeah, the SmackDown vs. Raw games are great. I also, I stopped playing them when they got to the WWE 2K. They kind of dropped the SmackDown vs. Raw name. That's when I stopped playing them. And like you said, for a long time, they got really bad, really glitchy, really bad games. I forget it was 2020 or 2021 that was like insanely bad, like super,
21.
super, super bad. 21 you said, and then
Yeah.
after that, they actually started getting really good. And I actually, I think it was last night, saw the IGN review for WWE 2K24. Very good. It says it improves upon 23 in every way, which 23 I know already got stellar reviews. And they said like it didn't change much, but they basically improved on everything, and they added these small little things that just made it that much more fun. So it's good for them. I'm glad that WWE games are good again and people enjoy them. I just personally probably will not pick it up. I think my WWE games end at 2011.
Yeah, I think mine ended around 21. Man, that and really before that I stopped watching wrestling. But hey, fun fact, me and Jaden went to a wrestling event together.
We did. That did
Jaden got
happen.
Jaden got me a Christmas present and we went to SmackDown and it was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's actually really
But
cool. It is actually pretty cool because one, it was the first time I'd been there, and I'd been like I hadn't been watching wrestling for over 5 years at that point, but there were still actually a lot of WWE people, like wrestlers, that I saw that I was actually fans of. Like the Hardy Boys were there, Rey Mysterio was there, R-Truth was there, Randy Orton. Yeah, a lot of stars, and I'm like, dude, it's so cool to see like these guys from when I watched it, which obviously 2011 to I think 2017 was when we went. No, yeah, it was later. That was 2019, I think. So
yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
8 years. So I guess 8 years, that is a decently long time in terms of the sports entertainment business. But it was cool to still see those guys and be like, dude, like awesome. Because I very much went in thinking, I guess it'd be cool to go to a live wrestling event, but I don't think there's going to be anyone I care about there. But Cam likes wrestling, sure, we'll go. And there were actually, I mean, the matches were cool, and there were, actually people I knew
Yeah.
there. Was
And
a
fun
surprise.
fact, this is way off topic, really, from like gaming, but you would be so surprised on how loud the ring is when they slam.
Oh, dude,
Uh,
insane! I was shocked by it.
oh
That's
yeah, it's
basically
very
all
loud.
you hear. That is basically all you hear. It's just slam, slam, slam.
Yeah,
Um.
it's very loud.
Anyway, yeah, it's a cool pick. Again, I saw. I'm glad to see it's doing well and they're actually putting effort into making good games. So that's cool.
Yeah, and another fun fact about my history with Raw and SmackDown, when I was younger, I don't know if I've told this story before, but it's just a very funny story to me now that I look back on it because at the time I didn't see anything wrong with it. Um, but when I was younger, I used to have like Noah. I don't know if I ever had Jaden, maybe. I'd be on SmackDown versus Raw, probably like 2011 is my guess. That's probably the one I used. Maybe it was 09, one of those two. And I would have Noah come in here and he would like put on a match for me to watch, and I wouldn't play it. I just
Oh,
like
with just
watching
the
it.
computers. Yeah, yeah.
Yes,
I do
yeah,
remember
yeah.
that.
I went through this phase when I was really little. I don't know why. And one time Noah put on an Iron Man match between Mysterio and RVD, and I'm not kidding. I think that match lasted like 3 or 4 hours. And I remember I came like running to Noah, being like, Noah, Noah, another one, another one. And I remember him like laughing and just being like, you watched that whole thing? I don't know, just a
Yeah.
funny moment in my head.
Iron Man matches are long.
Yeah, oh yeah, it
Anyway,
was terrible long.
fun times. Now we've gone to my first game. Everyone shut up. Battlefront's back, baby. Star Wars Battlefront Collection by Aspire, I'm gonna assume how it's pronounced, Aspire Media. Releases March 14th, so 3 days after the release of this episode. Obviously this is huge, Cam. Star Wars Battlefront, Battlefront 2, the original games came out on your Xbox and PlayStation 2. Huge games to this day, dead like hardcore fans, including me. I mean, Star Wars Battlefront 2 is one of my favorite games of all time. I own it, I play it. It's great. When Disney bought Star Wars and had DICE make the new Battlefront games, I was not into it. I didn't play them, but I was not into the concept because I thought, dude, just release the old ones or make them the exact same. They did not do that. It did not work out well. But they're finally doing it, and this is, I mean, already probably with just pre-orders alone, a massive success. It's going to be a massive success. There's zero chance. It will have online 64-player matches, which is insane. It will have all the returning cool stuff. Galactic Conquest, one of the coolest game modes of all time. the campaign's coming back, which the first Battlefront I actually never even played, so I'm super excited. I'm honestly even more excited to play that one because that one supposedly has a good story, and I'm interested in it. And then obviously I'm gonna play Battlefront 2 again. Super excited. They've added like they've taken this awesome game and they've only added more stuff to make it cooler. They've added a new hero and villain, Kit Fisto and Asajj Ventress, both made popular by the Star Wars: The Clone Wars series. And they also are changing things like Mos Eisley, Hero. I can't remember the exact name of the game mode where you just play as Jedi and Sith, heroes and villains, the hero and villain characters. That was only available on 2 maps, Mos Eisley being one of them. Obviously, the best map in the game. But now that mode is available on every single map, which is awesome. I'm still just going to play it on Mos Eisley because it's the best map. But yeah, they are taking this awesome, awesome game. They are cutting out nothing and they are adding more. There's nothing more that we could ask for. And also, because of this, Cam, I don't know if you ever played Battlefront 2 originally, but you're gonna play it now because I realized when this was announced, Noah and I never talked about Battlefront 2, which is insane to me because it's a game that both of us treasure greatly. So now with the release of this collection, you'll be able to play it, and we're gonna talk about it.
And I'm very excited. I love Battlefront 1. The game.
Like the new Battlefront 1 or the old one?
Old one.
Oh, I didn't know you played it.
Yeah, I played the first one. I never got around to the second.
That's a crazy thing you just said. All right.
I mean, well, I never know I had a sibling that had it, Jaden. Huh? How about that?
I guess that's fair. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, Cam.
Okay, so for my second one, I picked MLB The Show 24, published by San Diego Studios.
Developed.
Developed. I mean, sorry, developed by San Diego Studios. Releases March 19th. It's kind of typical MLB The Show fashion. You have Diamond Dynasty, franchise mode, Road to the Show, and storylines. One of my favorites are Road to the Show and franchise mode. I always love those. Those are always my favorite when I play a good sports game, and I love a good sports game. But yeah, I mean, you know what? They've kind of been in a steady stream of producing good baseball games. I really do not have anything really bad to say about MLB The Show. Like the last few years, anyways. I feel like overall it's been pretty good gaming. I don't know. There was for a time for when I think 21 or 22 came out where there was some lag, and I don't know. That usually happens every year with MLB The Show, but they fixed it right away. I don't know. I like it. I'm excited for it. Plus, I can also be on there, and I can at least have a decent Reds team this year.
Huh. Get your Ellie De La Cruz going.
Yeah. Well,
that's right.
I mean,
know. That's right. I know
we're
baseball.
looking like a solid 80. You said what, Jaden?
I said, yeah, I know baseball.
Yeah. We're looking like a solid 80 this year, maybe on the game. I wonder if they have the overall for the Reds here.
Yeah, man, I think 13 or 14 might have been the last MLB The Show game I played. I used to be huge on sports games. I used to buy specifically, Madden was typically my go-to, but I would play, at least every other year buy all the sports games, the Maddens, the MLBs, the NBAs. I actually own a few NHL games because, fun fact, Haley, big hockey fan. We've not played them, but I do own like 3. I mean, these used to be, when I was younger especially, pretty much the only games I played were sports games. Again, specifically more Madden than anything else, but I did used to love sports games. Nowadays, I'm so big on story games, I just don't really have the time to play sports games that I used to, which the only exception probably actually being NCAA 14. I like once a year dust off that game, play through a Road to Glory career, and then move on with my life. Yeah, sports games definitely one of those things. If I had more free time, I would absolutely play sports games more often. But they're still going strong. MLB The Show always been good. So congrats to them. Used to be PlayStation exclusive, is not anymore. I don't like that. PlayStation needs those exclusives, man.
Yeah. No, I agree there. But I don't know. It's kind of exciting, man. Because like I said, I'm more excited just for the fact that I'll have a decent Reds team this year. You know, like I don't know. It's pretty good. It feels pretty good.
Cool. I mean, that's yeah, good pick, I guess. I don't know. I don't know which one for me. Anyway, where are we?
I don't think I want anything. You know.
All right. My second game, Rise of the Ronin, developed by Team Ninja, releases March 22nd. I did not know what this game was, and then boy, did I start seeing just thousands of ads for it. On YouTube, on Facebook, on everything. It's a ninja game. Yeah, ninja game, samurai game. I think this one is more focused on ninjas. Been a while since the last one released. Would have been Ghost of Tsushima, the last kind of Japanese focused sword play game. Um. Well, I mean, I'm excited for this one. I like sword play. The last two sword play games that I've really experienced with both Ghost of Tsushima and Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice, both fabulous games. Looking at this game, it looks really good. People are really excited for it. Me included. I'm part of people. Yeah, and I think it's gonna be cool. I'm excited for this one.
Yeah. I believe the Rise of the Ronin, is Ninja Turtles, correct?
Ninja Turtles?
Yeah. Like, no.
Where are you getting the turtles from?
Like, don't they have like? Hold on. I'm gonna look it up.
Are you
Ninja.
referring
There's
to
like,
the Are you referring to the Ninja Turtles comic, The Last Ronin?
yeah. Is that what that's supposed to be?
No, it's although actually there is supposedly in the works a God of War-esque style Ninja Turtles game based on the last Ronin comic.
Okay.
No,
I
Rise.
remember seeing like a trailer about that game, so I thought that was it. My bad.
No, Ronin is just not wanting to insult Japan or anything. I'm pretty sure Ronin just is an indication of Japanese culture.
Oh, I
Not
got you.
like
Well,
ninja culture specifically. Like Ronin, in my mind, at least how I've always known it, just Ronin basically equates to ninja.
okay.
Um,
Well, this still sounds like a fun game. I feel like there's not too many ninja games out there, and so yeah, that's pretty neat.
yeah, I agree with you. I mean, again, oh God, I think the game was called Trek to Yomi, but boy, do I not remember enough to feel confident with that. Was the last, I would say, again, ninja game, not necessarily, but at least kind of Japanese inspired game to come out that I'm aware of, and that was a couple years ago. We almost did an indie bit on it, but just it never got picked. Um, but in terms of big on full AAA games, the last one that I am aware of is I think Ghost of Tsushima came out after Sekiro, so yeah, Ghost of Tsushima. Um, and Ghost of Tsushima came, if you haven't played it, great game. Loved
Oh,
it.
I have. No, I have.
Yeah,
I
absolutely great
amazing
game.
game.
Fantastic game. And even Sekiro, a great, fantastic game. So I mean, if Rise of the Ronin can be half as good as those two games, it's going to be a great game, and I'm excited for it.
Yeah, I agree. I'm excited to see what they can do with it. I'm definitely gonna watch the trailer when I'm off here.
Now, what's your last game, Cam? I can't say I expected you to pick this one.
Yeah. Princess Peach Showtime.
Princess Peach
Uh,
Showtime.
yeah. Developed by Nintendo. Releases March 22nd. It is an upcoming action adventure game developed by Nintendo, and it is set to be released on the Nintendo Switch. I I haven't heard too much about this game. But what I have seen from it is I've heard that the demo was lackluster. Uh, they said that conceptually, like the game is awesome. But mechanically, it's slow and boring. I guess it's not really what people would like. That's really the main complaints I'm seeing is it just plays very slow. Maybe it doesn't click together. And
I
yeah,
think
I mean,
I think it's meant to be more, a more kid-friendly game. So I don't know if that's something that you're whatever you've heard those people have taken into account.
for sure, for sure. It definitely looks kiddish. It looks like if Coco Melon created a game, but hey,
Well, that's harsh.
um, but yeah, I don't know. Give it a try, guys. Give it a try.
Give it a try.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. This is
Any thoughts
Nintendo.
on it?
Well, it's Nintendo, so yeah, I won't play it. I think it was a weird pick for you, to be honest.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
I mean, I think Princess Peach is a cool character. I think it's cool for her to get her own game. It's not the first time it's happened, but it has been a long time since she's had a kind of starring role in a video game. I'm excited for her to get this starring role. I mean, I hope the game does well. I mean, just being a Nintendo first party game by default, it will sell decently well because if nothing else, it'll be parents buying it for their kids. Um, yeah, honestly, that's all I have to say about this one. I hope it does
Yeah,
well.
I think they matched their target audience.
Yeah, I hope, um, I hope it's successful. Um, anyway, my third game, definitely not for kids, the Outlast Trials. Outlast is, I would say, a very popular indie game series. First Outlast came out many years ago. The first I heard of it was 2013, but I think it might have been released in 2012 or 2011, initially on PC, and then it was brought over to consoles. Loved the first Outlast game. I think it is one of the best indie games of all time. I think it's an incredible one of the best horror games of all time. Absolutely astonishing. Outlast 2 sucks. I hate it. It's not great. Cam, have you played Outlast at all? Either of the first two games?
Yes, I've played both.
Oh, you have.
Outlast
I'll
2.
be honest, shocking. I would not have expected that.
No, dude, I played the first one, traumatized me, and then I was like, later on I played the second one, and the second one sucked.
Yeah, yeah. Without getting into details, I mean, Noah and I did a quote unquote, Halloween special episode. Our first, towards the end of our first year of the podcast, and it was based on Outlast. Not based on Outlast. We covered Outlast. I don't know why I said that. And yeah, I just think it's a great game, great horror game, and I mean, the first game is endlessly entertaining because not only have I played it, I have watched no less than 4 different YouTubers play through this game. Um, because every time someone releases someone new releases an Outlast playthrough, I'm like, oh, dude, let me see this person play this. It's a fun game because the story is always entertaining. Seeing people's reaction to the story is always entertaining, and obviously people being scared is always entertaining.
Yeah, that game is terrifying.
Yeah. Second one, not great. Outlast Trials. Let's talk about the actual reason we're even talking about Outlast to begin with. Released March 5th, developed by Red Barrels. It supposedly, I'll be honest, I don't know a lot about the game itself. I remember when it was announced, and then I heard nothing about it for a long time. And then a friend, a guy I work with, we were just talking about games at work. It's what we do a lot, and he mentioned, he's like, "Oh yeah, did you see the new Outlast game came out like this week?" And I said, "Oh no, I completely forgot that game existed." Um, but it's out. He said supposedly it's kind of circus themed. I guess you're in like an amusement park or something. If that's true, that's awesome. I think one of the best and least used horror scary elements is abandoned theme park. Those are scary. Uh,
Yeah, I agree.
I think
Um,
so. If that is true that it does take place in a like abandoned kind of theme park, or even just a creepy theme park, super cool. If not, boy, do I look stupid. Um,
Now,
what's up?
Jaden, I know you're an old man.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you know all these concepts or words
Uh
I'm
huh.
using or
Yeah.
referencing. Do you know of the back rooms?
The back rooms.
Yeah, have you heard of that at all? Like ever?
Can you maybe describe it a little bit?
Okay, so the back rooms, like, okay, so like it's this whole there's a whole lore behind it, but the back like basically though is back rooms are like places where when you see a photo of it, it's like it looks so nostalgic and familiar to you, like maybe you've seen it somewhere as a child or in a dream. And but they've created this whole new lore around it where like there's something there and like you can't leave the back rooms once you're in the back rooms and like all this weird stuff, right? But I don't know. I feel like that was something that like popped out of nowhere, got really big, and you saw a lot more like indie. I don't want to say like I'm not trying to hate on these people that created these games and say crappy, but just maybe not as well produced. And there are I just feel like there's that's another one that I feel like hasn't been used a lot. And I've only seen one game do it, and they're still in development for it. Which, if it comes out on like maybe a console, I'd like to play it.
Gotcha.
But yeah, you can look up the Backrooms photos like yourself. But yeah, I just feel like that's another one that's never used. That I'm like, wonder why.
Anyway. Yeah, so just due to my love of the first Outlast game, excuse me, I will probably play Outlast Trials eventually. That's as huge, anyone who has ever heard me talk about games, huge asterisk needs to be put after any time I say I will play this game. There needs to be an eventually, because boy, is it an eventually. Who knows when it'll happen? Who knows if it'll happen? But it'll happen. Yeah, I'll play this one, especially if it is a theme park, like amusement park themed, super cool. But I will play it. I hope I like it. I hope it's good, but it is definitely a game I will play. I'll probably also force Cam to play it.
I'd
Yep.
like to play it anyways. Why
Yep.
not, dude?
Best
I
part,
like a good scary game.
yeah, best part about, having a podcast with your brother, you can really force him to just do whatever you want in regards to playing games because he has to for the podcast.
Yeah, if
Yeah.
Jaden told me to play a Barbie game, I'm working on it tomorrow. So
Yeah, yeah. I love the absolute power I have. Anyway,
okay.
those are the upcoming games. March, big month for games. A lot of cool games coming out. And I mean March historically has kind of been a decent game month. Typically like March to April and then October, November are the two biggest periods for game releases. So, obviously I think this is a cool month. I think we got 6 interesting games picked there. 6 cool games.
Yeah, no, I'd say I'd say this was a pretty successful game pick. I mean, sometimes we have ones where it's harder to find some games, but yeah, no.
There have been some struggles. There have been some struggles.
Oh yeah. Trust me, guys. We have definitely broken a few fingers trying to find games to talk about.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, now it is not time for the indie bit, the bit where we talk about indie games. Cam, can you put like an aw in there? Like a sad aw?
Oh.
Thank you, Cam. Yeah, so unfortunately, guys, without getting into too much detail, Cam's super busy right now, and so busy does not have time to play basically any video games.
Yeah, no,
including no, you don't have to get into it, but includes obviously indie bit games. So for the foreseeable future, until things get squared away a bit, we are putting the indie bit on hold. So we will not be talking about The Messenger, the game that Cam picked out, but we will eventually when the indie bit returns. So this is a bit shorter of an episode then, no indie bit. But yeah, I mean, it's not going away forever. I really like doing the indie bit, and while Cam's opinion does not matter, because as I said, I'm the ultimate boss. I know he likes doing the indie bit as well. It's been a great way for us to, I think, discover some very cool games that we otherwise would not have played. So it will be back. Just currently, with the way things are in life, we do have to put it on hold.
But not for long. I promise you, not for long. Don't think this is going to be a thing forever. I hope it's not even in the next maybe by the next podcast we can do it.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, it'll be back. Just we will not do it this episode, and maybe a couple episodes after this. Anyway, it'll be back. Trust me, no one will be more excited than us when it's back. Anyway, guys, don't forget, new episodes every other Monday. Rate and subscribe. Tell us if you like our show or tell us if you don't. Tell us why. Tell your friends and enemies about the podcast. And you can follow our Instagram, the Super Gamer Bros, for updates on episodes. And Noah still over on YouTube. Noah, the Super Gamer Bro, he's still rocking it, still uploading videos every day. Go check that out. Support him. Give him a subscribe. Give him a view or two. And yeah, check that out.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. Anyway, guys, thanks for listening, and we will see you guys next game.
Peace.